still need that intern, King.
Yeah, we do. All right, the live video is starting. We are here on a Wednesday night. You know what that means. That means welcome to the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat.
Little premature there.
Well, it happens when you get older. I'm just
does,
saying,
it does.
It happens.
Performance issues happen.
Performance issues. Guys, listen, we have with us today our most distinguished guest, our friend, your friend, great friend of the pod, Desi, is here to share his takes on the Chelsea Blues, which is who we represent, and we have the Red Devil himself, Diablo Blanco.
Diablo Blanco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, man.
What's up?
How are you doing, my brother? How's this week going so far, bro?
Staying out of the pit of despair and,
Save it.
searching for truth in an otherwise dark world.
Yeah,
good. Got to hang out with friends this weekend. Man U and IU football right now.
And Jägermeister.
Rocking it.
I said it.
Jägermeister.
I'm sorry. We're not supposed to say the name.
We are not sponsored, but if they want to, they can kick in. You're already there for Men in Blazers. What? Hey, Men in Blazers, come on. Rob, Raj, Davo, come on.
Let's get our stuff
kick it on
together,
down.
fellas.
Kick it on
Let's
down
go.
to the smaller podcasts out there. So to Chelsea.
Oh, wow. Okay, we are diving right in.
We're just going to dive right in.
Well, might as well.
That is.
We do. We love Chelsea. We do. Oh, Chelsea, we love you. Absolutely, yes.
At some point, we'll work a budget in to allow the guest to hear what's going on.
Or to get him his own mic. I mean, for crying out loud.
Right. Well, again, we can't afford an intern. We can't afford extra hardware.
That's right.
So, big matchup this weekend.
Yes.
Chelsea versus Arsenal.
Yep.
As a United fan, my take is that I think from a performance perspective, you played better against Arsenal than you did against Manchester United a week ago.
Yeah.
I thought it was it's almost a 50-50 game of possession, one goal each, not a lot of shots. I think 3 shots on target from both teams.
Yep.
Are you happy with the result? And what's your biggest takeaway?
I'm going to let our distinguished guest take this first, and I'm going to check the sound. Okay, here we go.
Do it.
Is this too loud? Or
no, you're good. Jump right in. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Well, coming from me, I've been a Chelsea fan for over 20 years. So we go back to the days of when Drogba even touched ground, but I even go past that to where George Weah touched ground, Some people might not actually know that. So for this question for me, it goes deep because it goes, am I happy with the result? But how could I be when it's against Arsenal? Maybe I should be because the times we're in right now, but I could never be happy with that result because that should be always a result in our favor from the standard that we've set. So for those that say they're happy, they don't come from the cloth I come from. So I can't ever say I'm happy about a result of a tie against Arsenal to where we were almost predicted as the underdog or maybe predicted as the underdog. Those things I don't ever look at or view. I would say I'm not, though.
Sure, and that's a real fan's take on it from the perspective of where they are relative right now to one another, where they are in the league, what they've been doing. Obviously, Chelsea's in the middle of a bit of a rebuild, multiple managers the last few years, whereas Arsenal's had Mikel Arteta for 5 years now, building that platform. Surely there are positives to take away from this match for you.
Okay, so I think the right word would be acceptance.
Okay.
Do I accept where we are and do I accept these results? Yes, I do, but those are two different perspectives I look when I look at this. So I would say acceptance-wise, yes, that was a very accepted result for where we are right now. Because in my opinion, we were 3 years away from where we need to be under Poch. But I won't get too deep into that because we'll stay question-based. But under what I've seen it's moving a lot quicker than what I thought it'd be.
Okay.
So my 3 years now, it's almost like a year and a half from where we need to be with about 4 or 5 changes. So I have a question.
Okay. So, Desi, I got a question, and I'm glad you said that because that leads me into where my thoughts were. Neto came in and injected energy into the lineup and eventually scored that just really nice banger of a goal.
What does he remind you of?
For me, I don't know where you're going to go with this, but for me, he kind of reminds me. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say like he reminds me of a little bit of Eden Hazard in the fact that he can come into a lineup and he can inject energy to the point to where he can score goals. But here's what I want to ask you: how much of a difference do you think that Enzo is playing Neto and these guys in the, kind of as the B team, getting them reps, making sure they have game simulation type, experience going into a Premier League match? Remember, Neto played already during the course of the week as
midweek with Noah. Yeah.
How much of it? I think it's genius, and I want to hear from you. But how much of a difference do you think, like guys like Neto, like Mudryk, these guys are getting reps as we're playing through, the cup, as we're playing through our cup chance, and then inserting them into the starting lineup and seeing results like Neto was able to bring. Mudryk was very, very positive as far as his play goes whenever he was coming in off the bench and things like that. Is this making an effect, and do you think this is kind of what Enzo is thinking? Do you think this is what he was thinking about developing these players?
That question, I wish it had stopped a little bit farther back.
Me too, but I've been drinking.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I've been drinking.
You're fine. I've had how I look at it is, when he says the version of the B team, I think that's your version and maybe a lot of other people's versions. Sure. But to me, personally, I don't think that's a B team version because I've seen Neto in the Premiership. I've seen what he's capable of. Yes. Mm-hmm. He's done things to us to where I thought he had 8 goals and 10 assists against us. And I looked it up, and it was like 2 goals and 1 assist. Yeah. Mm. But the man is capable, and I wouldn't say he reminds me of Hazard because that's like somebody coming to Barcelona and you saying it reminds you of Messi.
Right.
I would say he reminds me more of Pedro from Barcelona.
Oh, yeah.
When he first started.
Very good.
But then with more freedom, because the ability's there, and you don't even see the kind of midfielders like this where they're direct. Right. He says, brother, I'm going to take you this way, and that's what we're doing. We're dancing together this way. So the direct play, I think it's more Pedro, and if you free him more, and I think he'll get about 8 to 12 goals, in my opinion. And do I think he's a B team? No. I think he's the left starter. And then if it was me, United made a big mistake with Chantre.
I would agreed.
On the right. The thing about Madueke, he makes you a victim of the moment. So you don't analyze the whole game. You analyze the best part of what he did. So he looks great. He looks great at situations. But those that watch the game 3-4 times and you watch the body language, the not tracking back, the turnover, the arguing with the referee, the player interaction with the other ones. Those are how you analyze the player.
Yeah, he's got some discipline that he needs to work into his game.
And he grows in the era, the worst era.
Yeah.
The era of social guys, where you talk to Beyonce before the game. Those type of guys. Sorry to say her name, and I'm not supposed to.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Beyonce.
But that type,
we're good.
Era guy,
Yeah.
So unless
Beyonce.
Unless he really gets somebody that is from the cloth of, my man, you haven't made it.
Right.
You got the jersey, but trust me, you haven't made it here yet.
So you go into an international break on a fairly good high.
Not too many players going.
And we're in a very similar situation. Not a lot of our guys have been called up, which I think is a good thing. This is the third international break of the fall. And Palmer's looking like he's been getting ridden pretty hard. He's picked up some knocks. he gets a rest, and Enzo gets a chance to work with these guys, on a closer basis. We'll talk about Amarin and how that'll hopefully impact United as well. But you come back to play Leicester, then you've got Heidenheim in the conference, and then I honestly, when you see it on the page, it's mind-blowing. Chelsea and Manchester United, and probably a lot of other teams, have 9 matches in December, right? December 1st is, obviously you're going to kick off right at the beginning of the month, and they play, obviously, till New Year's Day. What are you... Where do you hope and where do you expect Chelsea to be on January 1st, 2025?
Go ahead, sir. I think mostly it goes by injuries are the most, So whether you play 9 games or 8 games or 7, we're a top 4 team. I don't talk like a 10th place team. Yes. Top 4, you should have 30 players. 30 players, right? And I'm saying 22, 24 of quality to replace 2 positions. Just like Man City shows you. 2 or 3 positions. So when you come on and play 9 games and all that, it's like, sorry, brother.
Well, it was less about, is 9 games too much? Do you believe Chelsea has a squad right now to weather that kind of storm?
Health-wise, no.
Yeah.
We're coming back slowly, but if you look at it, we might have about 8 injuries right now, honestly, of players that could be on this field coming off the bench, things like that. And from last Arsenal game, who knows if Lavia's going to be healthy next week? Who knows if James can play 2 games in a row? It's just a lot of questions of ifs and injuries and that type of things. But healthy-wise, if we were healthy, definitely. Most definitely.
You go ahead, and then I have one more kind of final question before we let him kind of
Sure, absolutely.
Go into this next realm here.
Desi, I absolutely 100% agree with everything you said. I think the one thing that helps us is the age of the squad. I think we have a lot of youthful players, and those players that have been called up are players like Jackson. They're players like Caicedo, like Fernandez, these are the guys that can handle it. Madueke, they can handle a lot of game time and be able to recover quicker than like a Reece James, than like if we still had Thiago Silva, like Thiago Silva. So I think because of our age of the squad, we do have a chance to at least maintain where we're at. I agree with you. I do feel like, and I'm not saying this just because I'm a Chelsea fan. I feel like Chelsea right now is a top 6 team in the Premier League. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think that we will finish.
From the way teams are performing altogether, from the way teams are performing?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we are top 6. I think that Chelsea is pretty solid right now. The performance they put on against Arsenal, I was so impressed. I was like, okay, I wish we could have got the points because we were at the bridge, but to be able to take Arsenal, and I apologize to all the Arsenal fans out there. Kind of
no, you don't.
But sitting on this side of the bar and seeing Neto score that goal and just seeing all the heads drop, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. They're getting swagger back.
This is the thing. Arsenal fans have never won this league. Like, they've won in the past, but like they forget the journey, how rough the journey is.
Yes.
They're going on their emotions of we got 3 points, we're winning it, but they don't understand it. It's got to be week 35.
Yes, this is
got to
a
be
marathon,
up by 5 points,
right?
Before you even think about celebrating.
Exactly.
And they do it at week 16.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
Right.
All right. One kind of final question for both of you. You've touched on Sancho, and as United, I always liked him, and we didn't get the best out of him, and I think that's a failure of Ten Hag. I think you've seen highs and lows from Joao Felix, and probably I don't think he's hit the heights that he was, sort of.
He made mistakes with
early on what the expectations were. There's still a good player in there, much like Jadon Sancho. Neto beginning to assert himself. Mudryk came on and was active. You know where I stand on Mudryk. Cole Palmer is obviously somebody you're building the team around. What's your best front five?
Man, I would say what we have right now, it'd be Nicholas Jackson, right, as the point man. It'd be Palmer behind him, right? On my left, it'd be Neto. And then on my right, it'd be Sancho. Those would be my four. And then it'd go to six because it'd have to be Lavia and it'd have to be
So,
Macedo.
as a United fan, I'm excited to hear that you didn't say Nkunku because apparently he's very upset about your team and wants to come to Manchester United.
No, you can't. It's Nkunku, like even if like Jackson told me he had a fever of 98.9, I'd put Nkunku in. That's how close that is. Yes. But this young buck can run somebody down for 60 minutes, and then you put your closer in.
Yeah, and Nkunku's just not demonstrated a durability that's required for the Premier League.
Need to. He's not 10 years younger than the guy.
True. I agree.
Says, I need 3 touches, 2 shots.
He is special.
I don't want 60 minutes to do this and run against these beasts all day.
Right. Yeah.
The guy runs them down. Let me come in and let me do what I do.
Absolutely.
So it's not like a person where we're like, oh, go to United. We don't need you. It's like, no, brother. We need you, but let's run this young man into the ground. Yeah. And then you go in and...
Well, but, I mean, you know how these guys are. They've got their egos. They want to be playing a certain amount of minutes. They believe they should be playing a certain amount of minutes, whether they're right about that or not.
Kind of competition at United. If Hoyland scores 2 more goals or 3 goals in one game, it becomes the same problem.
No, I don't disagree. But we have Rasmus Hoyland and no other really established strikers. Xerxes is not. We'll get to this in a minute. Xerxes is not a true striker. So, anyway, so that's the Chelsea segment.
To get a good cupcake, man. Yeah. He said Nkunku. Well, he can just come to United.
Right.
This guy, bro.
Hey, we gave you. Hey, man, we handed you Sancho. We really appreciate you taking that off our hands. So maybe we return the favor.
No, we don't.
But we do want to give an opportunity for Des to kind of talk about what he's got going. I want to big shout out first off. Des is from the beautiful country of Liberia, and back home, his family's very involved in the community, and he's been really integral in getting a local football team up and running. Ban United, is that it?
It's Ban United.
Ban United,
yeah,
all
but
right.
you can say it how it's spelled, B-A-I-N.
Okay.
And United. So Ban is the area that we all live in. Basically, you'd call it our hood. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then United, obviously, you can go off any other team in the world.
Sure.
United, obviously, together, community type thing. And it actually started off as God's Kid Academy, which started off in, I'd say, like 2018. And then it was a bunch of guys that all grew up playing together. So, like, your youths from, like, 14s, 15s, went to high school together, that type of community. But they call it academy, but it's nothing like here. It's just somebody that's in a better financial position can get a bunch of kids and buy them shirts and maybe some kind of shoes. And they call that an academy because they all play together at a young age. So in about 2020, they got a chance to go to the 4th division because another team couldn't afford to be there, and they couldn't afford to pay their way in there. So they luckily got accepted and got a bid to be in the 4th division. Wow. But these kids had played together for a while. Yeah. That they were quality, but they just didn't have the financial backing to get in. Interesting. So in their first year in the 4th division, under Coach Ben So, and under the backing of sponsorship from Alvin Gonkoy and Alvin Wawe and Clinton Gonkoy, they were able to put a little bit of fun into the team. In their first year in the 4th division, they actually finished first, and you go to a playoff, and they were able to commit and get promoted to the 3rd division. Wow. In the
That's
first
awesome.
year. But the 4th division has a lot of high school players and that type of thing. So they were able to get promoted to the 3rd division. And then the first year in the third division, they finished 6th because they had lost some players to. Obviously, if you come with money, you can get the players because here they're not getting paid. Sure. They're not getting anything. But now you're exposing them to third division teams. So now third and second division teams are coming for your best players.
Yeah.
Apologies, I'm not used to this.
Oh, no worries, man. No worries. You've been doing just fine.
All right. Yes, my heart, bro. I talk with my
so
heart.
I guess, you know, for people out there who hear about this, and I know, you know, we gained a not insignificant amount of followers during major tournaments, the Euro, and people finding out about us. And a lot of them are from Africa and are probably, you know, at least understanding of where you're coming from.
Okay.
Is there a way for anybody to help support you? Is there a GoFundMe or anything that anybody could reach out to help provide you guys funds, jerseys, boots, anything of that nature?
Yeah. Well, the best way is we do have a Facebook site for the club, and that's Bond United FC. But also you can reach out to me, which is Desi Buar, DeiziebUor, and that's on Facebook. And then we can get connected, and I can show you the different ways to get where you need to go.
Yeah, and for those of you who are not watching and can't see his jersey, Bond United is spelled B-A-I-N, United, in Liberia. And
we just followed it. So
excellent. We followed the show. If you're following us on Facebook,
Also,
you'll be able to get that.
Follow
and we'll
my
put
page
that out there.
too.
Yeah.
Because I do upload a lot of things and update people. That's DeiziebUor. And I will send you different ways to get connected with funding and different things. We don't have a GoFundMe, but we have other methods. So if you get connected with me, we would definitely appreciate it. In the area we live in, it's something as simple as $1 is $1.94 where I live. So you don't have to think about, thousands to save the world. It's $5, $10. If you multiply that by 194, it goes a long way.
Right.
So it's as simple as that, you know?
Well, and this is something, you know, specific to our community, the soccer community. You can feel good about, you know, supporting a local team that are very much a part of the local community. That, you know,
lots of donations
need that level of help. And I, you know, I grew up and, you know, didn't get to watch soccer as much because it just wasn't on television. But I can tell you in the early to mid 90s, the biggest club in the world was AC Milan. They understood marketing before everybody else, and they really got a lot. And George Weah, great Liberian player himself, was a star of that club, and he was one of the first people I remember watching play. He scores some ridiculous. I believe he brings the ball down on a corner and dribbles the entirety of the other team to score a goal. He's an absolute legend, and he's just wonderful.
Zeus.
Yeah, just a wonderful player. So you know, maybe your contribution helps Desi create the next George Weah.
Man.
And by the way, if that name sounds familiar, his son Timothy Weah plays for the U.S. men's national team, and we'll be talking about that here in just a little bit.
We support him fully, too. We support him fully.
That's great. That's great to hear. So, Desi, I really appreciate you coming on. I love your take on Chelsea. It's great to sit here to have somebody who I know has been a fan of Chelsea for a very, very long time, and also Evan, who's somebody who's recent to the club, and kind of share this love for this club, because it is a great club. Obviously, as a United fan, I've had the rivalry with them since, you know, in my mind, the 90s, going all the way back to the Frank LaBeouf era and things of that nature. But they are a great club, and I'm happy to share the stage here with Evan and Desi as Chelsea fans. So really appreciate it. It is halftime.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yay. Oh, the drunk crowd. They're very, very excited to be here. As ever, big thanks to Chatham Tap for letting us broadcast from the back corner of the bar in the Champions Room. They will be open. I'll be here I'll be here. I'll be here. Saturday and Sunday at 11 o'clock. It's the international break. Off the top of my head, I don't know when any of the games are because I really only care about the U.S. men's national team playing against Jamaica tomorrow night.
Yes.
And then following that up on next Tuesday. So
the intern should have had it up here.
Look at a schedule, live soccer TV, something like that. But thank you to the lovely ladies of Chatham Tap Fishers. Thank you to Desi for coming out.
Absolutely.
Filling us in on Ban United back home in Liberia, as well as his love for Chelsea. We will definitely have him back. Well, I think him and Io need to get into a deep convo about some things.
Absolutely.
And,
School me, man. That's all I'm saying.
And, we'll have some fun. So thank you for coming out.
Slanky.
And that's the sound of several people doing shots of
Whoa.
All right. We'll
my
let
friend.
Des get out of here. Appreciate you, buddy, man. Take care.
You gonna hang out, wait for us afterwards? Yes.
There we go.
Okay, let's do that. My guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. You gonna start with Bruno? Okay. I mean,
where else you gonna start?
No, that guy.
Where else
are
you gonna start?
I absolutely hear you, man. I what is going on? What is going on at Old Trafford, ladies and gentlemen? This is amazing what's happening. I mean, Eric Ten Hag, his tenure is over.
Yes.
And, to some people, oh, my gosh, Mrs. Blue in the house.
Mrs. Blue in the house.
To some.
Cheers, guys. Go Blues.
Oh, there you
Jordan.
go.
Hi, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan. What's up? What's up? Yes.
Good chat, brother.
We're getting there, brother.
We'll get there, yeah.
We're getting there. But
That's the C block.
I want to open this up with you because you had an interim
Yes.
gaffer.
Yeah.
And he wanted the job. He wanted a job. He really did. Rude wanted the job.
I think he would have accepted it. I don't think he was lobbying for it.
Okay.
I don't get that impression. I think if they'd had a conversation about it, yes, but
so my question is this. Where do you see this team as far going with now that you have a new manager? Where do you see this team going? Does he stick with kind of the secret sauce that Rude was able to get from them these past couple of matches, or do you mess around with it and implement what you want to do? What do you think?
I think there's a middle ground there from the standpoint of I think Rude unshackled some guys, gave them the freedom to play a little bit more, while still instilling some some structure to it. He had 4 games in charge, won 3, drew 1, all respectable results as far as I'm concerned. And over that period of time, I think we began to see certain partnerships form. We've had a good run. Honestly, I think we have honestly just stolen the best buy of the year so far in Mazraoui. Nasir Mazraoui has been phenomenal. Play him on the right, play him on the left.
Sure.
Maybe not so much play him in that 10 role, but he even tried his ass off in that role. He's so much more than I expected. I expected like Sergio Romero. I expected a functional back. And I'm not going to try to blow smoke and say that he's on par with some of the great backs in the league yet, but he mainly hasn't put a foot wrong, and he's demonstrated an ability on the ball, a tenaciousness, a willingness to get forward in the attack as well as do the dirty work. I think we're starting to see Delict settle in. Licha is, he's been healthy. So he's been getting in run of games, and I think you can see that partnership taking hold. Delote has been playing well.
Yes, I've noticed that. I've noticed that.
And here's the thing.
He's cleaned things up.
He's cleaned things up. Well, in my opinion, he's been playing as well as he has for the last about season and a half. I think he's turned himself into one of the better right backs in the world that can also play on the left side.
Sure.
I think you can definitely see the benefits for Marcus Rashford of guys who are able to overlap him. Garnacho has been playing well. Bruno, obviously, finally gets off the mark this weekend with an absolutely terrific goal. And then second one is lucky, but you know what? He makes a late run, puts himself in the box in a position to get that goal. And then obviously Garnacho comes on and smashes an absolute banger.
Just kills it. That kid, man, holy cow.
I think we're still trying to see a little bit more out of Rasmus, but what I do like is he's been more involved in the build-up play, which means they are building. They're trying to build through him. We're not there yet.
Sure.
But again, we come back from the break, favorable away match against Ipswich. Yeah, they did win. But I think that's a game where you would go away and expect to win, and then we're at home against Bodo Glimt, and then again start off in December, and we've got a run of 9 games, and 3 of them are Arsenal, City, and Spurs, and I think 2 of them are away. So that actually all 3 of them are away. So we've got our work cut out for us. What's Amorim going to do? That's a big question mark. He was a little cryptic when asked about is he going to go 3 at the back.
But
I honestly don't think that
I would be too.
I honestly don't think that makes that much difference. People talk about all these systems and all that.
Sure.
It's about patterns of play, and you can create patterns of play from any system. It's these guys' starting points, but let's face it, it's meant to be a fluid game. These guys are meant to find their spots on the field in particular moments. So I'm less concerned about that and more about his willingness to create a culture and an atmosphere that gets us back to what Manchester United fans know to be the culture of this club, while also looking forward and saying this is what we've got, and this is how we're going to proceed. Not a lot of information coming out about what he intends to do. There are rumors that he's not satisfied with Onana and is considering an Arsenal, I think, academy goalkeeper. Question marks about that. But you know what? He's supposed to be the next big up-and-coming manager and being talked in the same way that, a Klopp or a Slot or a Pep and some of these guys have been referred to.
Wow.
Let's temper that. But the reality is he's done wonders at Sporting Lisbon, which is a big club in Portugal. Yes, you can say relative, whatever. The Portuguese league is nothing to sneeze at.
I was going to say.
And he's got them ticking. And I think, we've got a couple of Portuguese guys, a couple of Brazilians.
Yeah.
I think that might help. Maybe that helps Anthony. I don't know. Right now, Ahmad, Rashi, and Garnacho are my go-tos as my attackers right now.
They are playing at a different level right now.
But maybe he can put an arm around Anthony and speak to him in Portuguese and say, hey kid, you got bought for a reason. Let's see what we can do. Maybe he goes in the window. Just a lot of question marks right now, but I think there are positives to take away from the last 4 games from Ruud. Thank you so much, Ruud van Nistelrooy. You didn't get to say goodbye in a proper way as a player, but you did get clapped off as a manager, and I think that's a phenomenal thing. You deserve your flowers.
3 wins, 1 draw.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and the draw was respectable. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad about drawing against Chelsea when we are 14th and you guys are what 6th or 4th.
I mean, we were 6th
at the time. So I'll take that, and I truly believe I actually thought your performance was better against Arsenal than it was against us, and I won't say we should have won the match. We could have won the match.
I think, and this was one of the things I want to bring up to you. I really do think Old Trafford is getting its swag back, dude.
I hope so.
I'm telling you, when I watched that match, yes, I as a Chelsea fan, who is sitting in 3rd right now, I was happy to leave Old Trafford with a draw. I mean, that to say that, it's amazing. I think that the players are starting to buy in. The players are starting to believe. They're looking around each other, looking around in the locker room, seeing each other, and they're saying, you know what? I do trust you to make the play, the connection play, or to take the shot, or to make the block that we need in order to get this game into our hands where we can win this thing. I think there's a change in culture, and you mentioned it before. My last question is this. Both of our teams are not immune to changes mid-season.
True.
And in the past 5 to 6 years, both of our teams have had change after change after change after change. What do you think the new manager can do? Aaron can come in. What can he do to lessen the effect of this change to lessen the effect of this transition and to keep these guys focused enough to continue on this role that you guys are on?
Well, to go back a little bit, I really don't know what it was, but very, very clearly Rude did something that let these guys play with a little bit more freedom and a little bit more, there's still a system. You're still working under a system. There's still a way you're trying to play. But it was very clear that in these last 4 games, these guys played with a different mentality and a freedom and openness. You don't get here without being incredibly talented players.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes managers want to joystick guys too much or define their system and style of play and limit them in such a way as to take away what made that player special in the first place.
Yep.
And something that, everybody's been talking about, Amarin doesn't take any shit. He's very, very, he's going to tell guys exactly how he feels about it.
That's kind of his reputation.
But he showed up at the first practice this week, and he was greeting all the players, and guys slowly began gathering around and just gravitating. Here's the new manager, and you can see he's got a little something about him. You can see that he immediately puts guys at ease, and they want they want to impress him. But my big takeaway was he said something to the effect of, "We have a lot of work to do. Let's have some fun." And to me, that's it. You work hard.
Yeah.
I know play hard in this context has a double meaning, but I mean, you work hard and you play hard, but I've been watching I watched the 3-episode miniseries called 99 about the class of 99. And
yes. Yeah.
And you should watch it. It's very good, even if you're not a United fan. But you have all these guys talking about the intensity and what it meant to play in Manchester United. And then Dwight York shows up. And Dwight York played with joy. Just absolutely played with joy, played with a smile on his face, and his joy unlocked Andy Cole's joy. And their partnership unlocked something new. So Ruben Amorim comes in and says, we're going to work hard, but we're going to have fun. We are a great team. We are Manchester United.
Yeah.
And there was nothing better than when you saw, Roy Keane's a surly motherfucker. But I tell you what, when there was a really, really nice sequence of play and you scored a goal, that guy was first on the scene with a big smile on his face, cheering you and clapping you. That's what it means. You bust your ass.
Yep.
You give more than you've ever given in your entire life. And then the release of that joy because of that is that much more.
That's interesting because, because of the
shout out real quick to Greg. Thank you. We're not ignoring you.
Yeah,
We've
Greg.
just been going on one here.
Absolutely.
He's done good. I'm excited for him.
It sounds like there has been, and me and Mrs. Blue have gone back and we've restarted Ted Lasso. And as I was preparing for this segment of it, I'm like, you know what? I really do think that Amarat could bring in that kind of, hey, let Roy Kent be Roy Kent type of mentality. To be like, look, guys, let's work hard in training. Let's work hard as we train through the week, and then on game day, you're going to already know what to do. So let's have fun doing it.
Exactly.
Man. Be yourself. Do the things you do. You can kind of see that, at least from Garnacho. You don't have to be, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm so excited about saying this. You don't have to be a football fan to understand Garnacho is enjoying playing football right now. He's enjoying. Well,
apparently he was sad. He didn't celebrate the other day because he felt the fans weren't really on his side. But you know what?
That's the thing.
He's still
like,
a young kid.
He
wants
let's go.
It. Yes, I agree.
And I love that. I absolutely love that. This is why I was looking forward to this section, my friend, because as a Chelsea fan, it is hard as it's hard as hell to sit here and just praise Man U. But damn it, they're playing with spunk. They're playing with fervor. They're playing with a new, renewed spirit. that, quite frankly, you know what, they need that. And so, hats off to you guys. You look like you're pretty good. Look like you're going well.
You know what? We're going into this break. We don't have a lot of guys that are going to be off on international duty. Obviously,
Sure.
Bruno apparently saved a man's life on a plane this week. I don't know that that's truly the case, but apparently was helpful in alerting people. But we don't have a lot of guys going off on international duty, and I think I said duty. I think. Yeah, I think that's an opportunity for Ameren to have almost a solid 2 weeks with these guys, not to destroy them, but to find out about them, to learn about them. I think he genuinely wants to know about who they are as people and how they're going to play, and it's an opportunity for whoever is there to show that.
Sure.
And to also say, look, I want to be better. What can I do? How can I make an impact for your team, even if it's off the bench, even if it's just a few minutes here and there, and demonstrate how you're going to train. So I'm excited. We come back on November, I think, 23rd here in like 10 days or so. And
24th.
We've got
Ipswich
away, winnable match, and then we jog on from there. And the table is so close at this point that a couple wins in a row would be enough to get us back within touching distance.
You guys are there,
to
man.
eighth place, sixth place, something like that. So, hopefully, exciting times. Again, cautious, trepidatious because of what we've seen go before us, but I'm always going to be a fan of this club, and I'm always going to be excited when a new manager comes in.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that's awesome. That transitions us to USA. Yeah, man. Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We're about to let's get it on.
Heading down to, I'm not going to do a bad Jamaican accent. We're heading down to Kingston, Jamaica, where the Caribbean has not been kind to us recently. But I'm gonna bet that Pac, as well as some of our really truly informed players. I mean, you think about it, Pulisic. Zlatan called Pulisic Captain America this week. That's
my God!
That's high praise. Weston
saw
McKennie
that.
is killing it for Juventus. Weah, Musa, Malik Tillman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good core to build around.
Absolutely.
I think our question mark is in goal and maybe a little bit of our back line. Anthony Robinson's obviously been playing well. I actually don't know if he's been called in, but he's been phenomenal for Fulham. So a lot of these places, a lot of these slots pick themselves for this match, and I want to have faith in Pac. Let's go away. I think we should win. But a draw is not horrible to come back to St. Louis and say we're gonna take you here, and then we move on in the Nations League. It's one game at a time.
Yep.
But I'm excited. I'm excited for tomorrow night's match. I'm excited for, I believe, next Tuesday's match. And all you can
let's see.
all you can do is get behind your team.
Monday.
Okay.
Oh, it's back to back. That's right.
Get behind your team. Be a fan.
Yes.
Every once in a while, the United States knocks us down, gives us a bad result, and you pick yourselves up, dust yourself down, and say, "I'm a fan," and we're going to keep going, and we're going to try to get the next win.
So, do you remember the old times in the show where I had to take a break in the middle of the fucking show because I'm old and I need to pee? This is exactly that break, okay? So I want you to talk about, as far as the squad is concerned, who is you? Wow. I'm a history professor, not an English professor, my friend. Who are you looking to kind of make a statement? Because Ricardo Pepi is looking forward to starting.
Yeah.
Right? Who are those guys that you're hey, I need you guys to kind of show a little something here against Jamaica?
I definitely think that we need to have a good game from Pepi. Obviously, goals would be fantastic. He's been weighing in Europe. He's a popular player. I think one of his opposition players named him as one of the more exciting guys to watch in the league right now. My expectation is for the guys I just named: Pulisic, Musa, McCanny, Weah, Tillman, to be able to provide exactly keep doing what they've been doing over the last couple of months in their respective teams and their respective leagues. I have question marks about the back line simply because I appreciate Tim Ream's contribution, but I have question marks as to whether we can continue with this moving forward. I'm not sure who our best choice in goal is right now. I think of course his name will escape me at this exact moment. Anyway, I'm not sure who will start for the U.S. in goal. I know we've called in Schulte as well as, I believe, Horvath. And the guy's name that's completely escaping me right now, that's either at Forest or on loan at Forest, and that's really my bad right now. But you know what? Alcohol does things. So I do think we have question marks. Even if I could remember his name, I wouldn't be able to say whether or not he deserved to be the starting goalkeeper. Just it's really annoying me. But yeah, I think we have. I think our front five is fairly locked down. Aronson has played well, so I think he could fit in. Question marks as to is Aiden Morris really ready to step in? Evan, who's the goalkeeper I'm trying to think of?
Sanchez.
No.
Oh, our goalkeeper.
U.S. men's national team. And
Stefan?
No.
Matt Turner.
Matt Turner. Thank you so much. He's had ups and downs so far this year. I think the loan is helping him. I knew it started with a T, and it just was not coming to me, and I apologize for that.
Do you think Schulte's going to get the nod?
That's really what I've been talking about. Is the question mark over who's really going to own that goalkeeping spot moving forward, and it needs to get nailed down because that's one of those positions where you really can't platoon it in the way that you can maybe do some other. But you
can't.
You can say, hey, I've got three solid defensive midfielders, and they do a lot of work in our system. So I can rotate them in a
right.
You can't rotate goalkeepers like that. And I just don't think the reality is I don't think we have goalkeepers of the quality that we've had over the last maybe 10 to 20 years. And Guzan made a name for himself the other day against Inter Miami, and he's saying, I'm 40 years old. Maybe you need to call me back up, too.
Maybe you need to call me back up. So I don't want to prolong this because we only have about 10 minutes left before we can make the gram.
Oh, we ain't making a gram. Don't worry about that. But if we go over an hour, we also struggle to get on our
that is
podcast.
True. That is true.
So we do need to wrap this up.
So what I was going to ask is this, is that the United States, do you think the United States they have enough players to field a really good team?
They do.
What about our bench?
I think that's a big question mark right now. We got a lot of guys still coming up through the system that, I think are good players, but have not necessarily demonstrated that they're going to be able to be a supporting cast come World Cup time. That said, we got a year and a half to sort this out now. This is not the game to find out.
No.
This is a game to
we
say.
We have to show out in this.
What some
we
of the
show out in this match.
But some of these other matches that might be coming up in the next few international breaks, because apparently these are just interminable. Might be more of an opportunity to bring some of those guys in, and we've got guys playing really, really well all over the place. Cameron Carter-Vickers is looking good. Trusty looking good.
Yep.
I mean, we've got guys doing well. Can we assimilate them? And that's Pac's
good point.
That's Pac's biggest issue right now is trying to find the games to assimilate them.
Excellent. Well done. That ends our segment with Chelsea, Manchester United, and the USA. And now we are going to actually, you know what? Here, let's do this. How would you feel about combining these two segments to see if we can make the gram.
All right, we can try it. Again, we got 9 minutes, and once you go over an hour, the file size that gets us onto our podcast platforms changes too.
Yes,
so we need to get on there.
So the Hey Aaron and Aaron's final thoughts segments tonight, we are combining, and we are bringing back the yellow card, red card segment of our show. There we go. So, Aaron, here's the deal. I'm just going to pass it off to you, my friend. If you'd like to just say, hey, what do you think about that, Evan? That's cool. If not, that's cool. But, hey, Aaron, who gets a yellow card for this week?
Okay. Yellow card. Bang. Right in your face. David Coote, what are you thinking, man? I'm sure in the moment you thought you were having a laugh and all that, but you are a professional Premier League referee.
Yes.
And you showed your ass.
Yes.
In the wake of some pretty obviously bad calls where you really, truly appear to be supporting Michael Oliver's attempt to undermine the league. And I don't like talking like this because as much as I was a serial referee abuser when I was much younger, I realize the job is incredibly difficult, and most of the time these guys get it right. But when you're looking at some of these VAR decisions lately, and you begin to put together data, and showing what someone consistently does, it's beginning to be hard to ignore. And also, you just can't publicly say stuff about a team and a manager that you're going to have to interact with. Certainly not on some dork's fucking social media account sitting on his couch when both of you've clearly had a couple pints.
Right.
I appreciate it, but you're held to a higher standard than the two of us are.
Exactly.
Okay? And you should be. I'm not a Premier League referee. He's not a Premier League referee. We are not taking charge of a multi-million-dollar game every Saturday and Sunday from either the center of the field or a perch in a video van sitting outside. You have an obligation to do better, and you failed. So you get a yellow card, sir.
That's right. That's right. All right, my friend. Who gets the red card for this week?
Indiana voters. I'm just going to say
actually
this.
Both crowds.
I'm not even. I'm going to tell you this. Indiana has bad healthcare processes, has a broken educational system, has poor infrastructure in some areas, and all of this has been going on for 20, 25 plus years.
Yeah.
And your response to that was, give me more of the same.
Yes.
This is not a federal level kind of thing. I'm not going to get into that talk.
It's
I'm
not
going
even
to say
about parties, really.
Exactly. If I got to be honest, at what point do you say the people I've been voting for have been such a failure that I'm going to make a change? And not only did you not, but you've doubled down on some pretty ugly shit. And our new lieutenant governor apparently doesn't understand how funding for a college newspaper works, amongst other things. So that's my mini rant right there. If you're mad about the way things are going in the state and you voted
Greg.
for the exact same people,
That's right.
Then I don't know what to tell you. I really can't. This is going to be a mantra, but I hope you get what you voted for.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to Aaron's final thoughts. Man, you had to run through that, and I appreciate that because you hit on some good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Here's the deal. Our country has had an election recently, and here's the thing. The thing is that, hey, it is what it is. And we have to navigate in this country that we have now. The people who are hurting, the people who you supported before, no matter what side you're on, they still need supporting. And this is the Aaron's final thoughts. I'm waiting with bated breath to hear what you have to say. So I will shut up. Guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us. Aaron's final thoughts. What do you got for us, brother?
We've talked a lot about this show, on this show in the past about, what it means to be a fan, how to be a fan, how to be a fan when your team isn't doing that well. And as a United fan, I've gotten to experience that, and hopefully you're getting my metaphor. But you know what? When your team loses, you don't stop being a fan. You think about how your team could be better and what can you do as a fan to help them get to that point. It's despairing, especially when you find yourself in, 8th place and not even playing in Europe and things like that. But sometimes you got to walk away and say, you know what, I'm gonna gather my thoughts and think about what I want to be. But if you're a real fan, you come back and you redouble your efforts and say, I'm going to make it a point to let these people know what kind of fan I am. I'm not going to resort to, going to a foreign city and instigating riots against people, as we saw. People talk about, ask us why do we talk about politics sometimes? Well, because politics invades sports on a regular basis. We had people from Israel go to Holland last week, and there are a lot of mixed messages as to what went on out there. And I'm not going to weigh in on that because I don't have all the details. What I know is it was wrong for everybody involved, and we need to be better. We need to be better fans. So my advice to you is take a minute, because losing a cup final sucks. Have you some drinks, walk away, and then come back and say, you know what, I'm going to be the best fan I can possibly be. I'm going to make this club as good as it can possibly be. We're going to restore Manchester United to its greatness, and I'm going to celebrate in the best of times, and I look forward to that happening. And we will be here every step of the way with all of you. If you're feeling it, if your team's not winning right now, reach out. We're happy to help, and we got your back. Big shout-out to Desi for stopping by the show tonight. Shout-out to Ban United in Liberia. Get on their social media if you can, and you better fucking believe #SayGay.
Wow, and he dropped his mic, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying this. #Black people, keep voting. I'm telling you guys, listen, we love you. Please come out, have beers with us, have drinks with us. We'd love to just chat with you. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Enjoy.
We'll be here tomorrow. Show up, join us watching the U.S. men's national team. Come on out.
There you go.
Be a fan.
Peace. Greg.